civilization flourished from 250 AD to 900 AD. The Mayas occupied a vast area of land. They lived in parts of Mexico, as well as throughout Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, and western Honduras. The Mayan government consisted of separate kingdoms or polities, each of which a king known as an Ewa ruled. The Mayas primarily relied on agriculture to fuel their economy. Maize was their main crop, but they also grew cotton, beans, corn, and squash. To help their economy, the Mayas also traded maize, ceramics, stone tools, jade, pyrite, quetzal feathers, cocoa beans, honey, obsidian, and salt. The Mayan religion was polytheistic and centered on natural cycles such as the life cycle of maize. Priests interpreted these cycles, using them to predict the future. Another aspect of the Mayan religion was human sacrifice, which the Mayans thought pleased the gods. The Mayas created astonishing structures that still exist today throughout Central and South America, including palaces, pyramids, and temples, all of which were usually made out of limestone. The Mayan traditional house was similar to royal houses today, consisting of a rectangular room with no windows. Besides infrastructure, other major achievements of the Maya were the development of a written language and the development of 20 different calendars. One of the most common of these calendars was the 365-day solar calendar, the Hab. In 2800 BCE, the Mayas had already calculated that the tropical year was 365.24229956 days long, a number that is extremely close to today's calculation. Although the original origin of the Hab calendar is unknown, natives made Hab calendars throughout the time of the Mayas. An original Hab calendar is not displayed in a museum, but modern Maya artists in Palenque, Mexico, and the Ancient Historical Society have accurately recreated these calendars numerous times. Artists often hand-carve these reproductions out of limestone, and it is likely that the original was also made out of limestone, as this material was common during Maya times. This is a common reproduction of the Hab calendar, and this is the Maya god of time at the center, and he is said to be holding the burden of time on his back. The god of time is probably the deity Itzama, who is credited with bringing the knowledge of the calendar to the Mayas. The hieroglyphs surrounding the god of time, which are these, represent the 19 months of the cycle. The Hab calendar consisted of 18 20-day months and one 5-day month. This short month at the end of the year is the Uleb, which means the sleep. The Mayas also had a sacred 260-day calendar called the Zolkin. This calendar consists of 2 gears. The larger has hieroglyphs with the 20-day names, while the smaller has numbers 1 to 13. When a certain day name and number match up for a second time, 260 days have passed. During Maya times, the Hab and Zolkin calendars often worked together like gears. Joined, the scholarly term for this calendar was the calendar round. This is a reproduction of the calendar round, and you can see this is the Zolkin and this is the Hab calendar, and they turn together like gears, and whichever hieroglyphs and numbers matched up was the date on the calendar round. In the calendar round, a particular date only repeats itself once every 18,980 days, or about once every 52 years. The development of the Hab and the Zolkin calendars suggests that the Mayas had advanced knowledge of both math and science. To make the calendars, they had to have knowledge of astronomy. In fact, the Dresden Codex, a sacred Maya document, shows that the Mayas calculated lunar movements, solar and lunar eclipses, and cycles of visible planets. The calendars also have evidence of a base 20 number system where a dot is equal to 1, a line is equal to 5, and an eye or a shell is equal to 0 or 20. Here on the Zolkin, you can kind of see these are the numbers 1 through 13, and you kind of can see the lines and the dots. Not only is the calendar round a significant scientific achievement, but the Mayas made prophecies using the calendar, which made this object central to Maya culture. First of all, the calendar was important to Maya religion, as rituals often related to the end of a cycle or the reoccurrence of a cycle. and the god Itzama was credited with bringing the knowledge of the calendar to the Mayas. In terms of prophecy, each configuration on the calendar round was believed to have a particular energy that related to the supernatural influences of fire, air, earth, and water. That particular energy was believed to affect events throughout the day, either positively or negatively. Therefore, events and ceremonies were timed to happen on certain dates or to avoid certain dates. To make prophecies for dates far in the future, the Mayas would analyze a major event that happened on a certain calendar date in the past and correlate it with the same date in the future, as these dates would have the same energy. Other methods of prophesizing that used the calendar included visions, reading stones, especially quartz, and the sacred Zeit method, which required putting stones and seeds into rows. Although these methods do not directly use the calendar round was often used to help determine the exact date a previously predicted date was going to happen. Carlos Barrios, a current member of the Mayan Elders Council, states regarding prophecy, quote, "During the Mayan ancestral period, all the visionaries, fortune tellers, and astrologers would gather every 52 years to conceive the path their people would take. They would determine whether the cosmic and telluric energies were favorable in established ceremonial centers and cities," end quote. During the Yuadev of the Hab calendar, the Mayas would fast and the elders would prophesize about the next cycle, including whether or not their entire city should move to a new location. The Mayas spent large periods of time prophesizing, even predicting that there will be a new beginning to the world in 2012. Because of the prophecies made using the calendar round and other calendars determined when rituals would be performed, whether a group of Mayas should move, and when an event should occur. Therefore,